A lot has happened over the past couple months.
Alright, Beatrice, there was no need.
Okay, everything's under control. My phone isn't exploding anymore. Time to take a break. Man, nothing beats a nice fun video game after a long day's work.
Do my eyes deceive me? Is this some apparition I see before me? Or could it be my hero? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
The lead 2D artist from one of my favorite games, Voices of the Void, found Deep Snow Delivery and offered to help. I also got two other people to help, a 3D modeler who also knew a lot about Unreal Engine, and another artist that was dropping these banger fan arts left and right. Several people offered to do music too, which I ended up using for the game's new radio upgrade. Speaking of which, this latest update is my biggest one yet and centers around a new settlement and character, the Radiotrician. But before I go into details about it, I wanted to talk about my plans for the game's future in general. People already seem to like the game's core gameplay of making deliveries, collecting and selling junk, driving across rough terrain, and buying upgrades. So wherever I go with the game, I want that to remain as the focus. Several people have suggested survival mechanics, for example, and while I do want to add a survival mode at some point, I don't think it would be a good idea for me to focus too much on that for the main game. The last thing I want is for fans of the original game to buy the game years from now and say,
"Look how they massacred my boy."
I want to make deliveries, not scavenge for food or play tank repair simulator. So my goal is to build upon the solid foundation I already have and expand this into a 10 to 20 hour game. So how am I going to do that? For one, the map size is pretty damn small. It's only about 6¼ square kilometers, which is about a third the size of Death Stranding's central region, or one Fortnite island. Now that's small, but it's even smaller when you consider you're walking in those games and driving a tank in mine. So how will I make the map bigger? I wasn't ready to just nuke the map and start over, since I already spent dozens of hours fine-tuning it. One option would be adding more onto the existing map, but unless I wanted it to feel like tacked-on DLC side quests, I would still have to change the center map to incorporate the outside areas into the main upgrade progression, and at that point I'd rather just start from scratch. Another option would be something similar to the Long Dark, where there's separate maps connected to one another, each with a unique theme. If I were to do this though, what would be the goal in these other regions? Destroying more towers? Or maybe something else to make the world a better place? No, I think that would detract from the impact that destroying just one tower has. There's no getting around it, I'll have to just nuke the map and start over. With more space comes more room for adding new settlements. Making a long journey around the mountain, then one final trip up to the top seems like a good format, so I think I'll stick to that for the most part. Just like the original game, each settlement needs a unique theme, environmental challenge, and upgrade centered around it, kinda like a Zelda dungeon. For the newest update, I went with weak ice and an ice scanner. And yes, for the first time in the game, you can die. Now this isn't supposed to be a very difficult or frustrating game, so I put this area near the end and tried my best to give players a clear, safe but indirect route to the Radiotrician, provided they don't ignore the multiple signs pointing them in the right direction. We'll see from feedback if I succeeded or not. I mentioned before I don't want new areas to feel like tacked on side quests, but for this update, it's 100% gonna feel like that. But remember, it's temporary. The point of this update was just to test some new features and prepare the game for expanding the map. Probably the biggest thing I plan on changing for the final game will be the addition of characters and a story, which is one of the things I was experimenting with for this update. The first character, the Radiotrician, can be found in her settlement and sells you the highly requested radio upgrade. 7 months of making Outlast videos has left me with a burning hatred of modern copyright law, so I made it so you can listen to literally anything.
Royalty-free song.
Songs can be downloaded from ancient internet archives, also known as and dropped into your music folder, letting you listen to any
Royalty-free song that you want. Remember kids, copyright infringement is no good.
I also spent $40 on a plugin called Ultra Dynamic Sky, which makes the weather look 100 times better while actually increasing my frame rate, since I can use their 2D dynamic clouds instead of Unreal's laggy-ass volumetric clouds. This plugin, along with the runtime audio importer used for the radio, were paid for with the help of my Patreon supporters. If you want to see the game's development continue, please consider joining. You get your very own custom ruined tank model in the world with a name and final log you can set, as long as it makes sense for the game. You also get early access to test builds and a few other perks.
$5 a month!
Anyways, my next goal is making a trailer for the Radiatrician update and getting the game on Steam. After that, I'll start on the map expansion. I'm sorry this video took so long to make, I'm juggling a million things right now. Join the game's Discord server if you want more frequent updates. It just got boosted to level 1.
Not even sure what that means, but thank you.
Also, I'll get a better mic for the next video. Bye.